So you have a tasty Taysom Hill take, Mina. I want to get to that. But let's do all of the Saints and Jameis Winston now. It was his choice to go to New Orleans. He's a free agent, right? So he makes that choice, and the Saints make the choice. So he makes the choice to be a backup, and the Saints were the only option for him, maybe? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I look around the NFL, right? We were just talking about the Patriots and their desire to ride with Jarrett Stidham. The Chargers took Justin Herbert. Jameis ran out of landing spots, and I think he chose the best one for both his own personal development, his reputational rehab as a quarterback, maybe either staying with the Saints or getting that next contract. It makes a ton of sense for both him and the team.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, though. Is Jameis Winston, I combine the names, a starting quarterback in the NFL still?
I think so. The ding on him is rightfully the turnovers, but he has a better arm than most of the league. He can produce at a high level. He just has to adjust his game. Now, it's totally reasonable to be skeptical of his ability to adjust his game and protect the football better at this point in his career. But from a potential standpoint, no question.
But you endorse his decision to be a backup this year and learn under Drew Brees, which is interesting. We'll get back to that Taysom Hill in a second, but I want Israel on Jameis Winston.
It's a curious choice, right? Even though he has thrown more passes to Saints players than Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston has because of all those interceptions. It does make you wonder why this choice. Now, I understand the idea that, Drew Brees wasn't really Drew Brees until Sean Payton got a hold of him, at least in terms of numbers. And maybe that's what he's thinking. Whether or not he plays it down for the Saints, he can improve himself as a quarterback with Payton as his coach. But it also seems like just a gamble in terms of, hey, if I'm going to play, this might be my place to play with a good team, because you've got an aging Drew Brees. You never know how many games he's going to play. Obviously missed some games with a thumb last year. And you have a backup. Who is he the backup? Like, if Drew Brees goes down, is it Hill's team to run and Jameis is the full-time backup, or are they doing a combination?
These are interesting questions you're asking, Israel, when we saw it precisely happen last year at Teddy Bridgewater, and this worked out for Teddy Bridgewater.
But we're told it's different now. We're told Taysom Hill is the next starting quarterback. So will he get those reps if Drew Brees goes down this year?
Tim Cowlishaw, let me ask it to you this way. Jameis Winston, 5 years into the league, right? It's 5 or 6. Has a 5,100-yard season on his resume. Also has all the pick sixes that anyone's ever basically thrown. You can look at it that he's got numbers and put up numbers in his career in some way, or you can look at it that he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. How do you do?
I tend to agree with Mina that 80% of the time he's a starting quarterback. It's not just the interceptions; it's some of the other decisions he makes that make you question. Has he learned anything? Is he better in year 5 than he was in year 1? And last year's interceptions certainly would say no. I think this is a great decision for him, though, to learn from Brees, to learn from Peyton. And if Brees does get hurt, I know they're saying Taysom Hill is their guy. I don't know that they'll go that way. He may very well get a chance to play and go the Teddy Bridgewater route, which worked out great for him. So this may have been his only option also. But regardless, it's a good option for Jameis.
About those numbers, real quick, Mina, on Winston. How do you look at his career numbers? Some have tried to say, Peyton Manning had the interceptions and touchdowns kind of match up one year for him early on in his career.
I think he stands alone in this era of football. A better comp for him is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is playing right now and also throws a lot of interceptions. Also is streaky in the same way, but also produces.
I guess everybody's numbers in today's NFL in 2020, if you compare them to even 2000, passer ratings across the board have gone up 20% for every quarterback. That's how the league is throwing now. All right, give me this Taysom Hill. I'm ready for it, Mina.
So obviously Taysom Hill did sign a fairly sizable contract this weekend, and he has a way of triggering people. There's just something about Taysom Hill that drives NFL fans, coaches who I hear from, drives everybody crazy. But my point is this. I don't think he's the quarterback of the future. I think if he was, he would have played last year instead of Teddy Bridgewater. I also think he is an incredibly useful football player. Just statistically, when he is on the field, Drew Brees has higher expected points added per play. As a rusher, he converts third downs and short yardage at a higher rate than pretty much every running back in the NFL, including like Christian McCaffrey. It's over 80% of the time. And as a receiver, he averages over 12 yards per catch. He is useful. He's just not the quarterback of the future.
And does all that add up to 21 million?
Hey, if it helps them win.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.